and welcome to Great Day Live. I'm Janelle Martinez.
And I'm Allison Godlove. Thanks so much for joining us. Hopefully you had a great weekend. Lots going on this weekend.
Yeah, a lot going on. A huge weekend for Rays fans. Evan Longoria was inducted into the Rays Hall of Fame. They retired his number 3 jersey. And
special.
What a weekend. It was so special seeing him walk on the field again. So cool. So he, that was his song that he came out to.
His welcome song live.
Yes.
That's cool.
So fun. But he just looked like he was enjoying himself. Obviously, such a big deal for the Rays. Evan Longoria started in 2008 when he won Rookie of the Year, and then it was just on from then, right?
Yeah, he's so
just
special
is
to
so
the area.
good. Everyone talks about in 2011 his walk-off home run that sent the Rays to the playoffs. That was pretty cool. But look how much fun he was having. The fans were just loving it.
You saw so many of his jerseys all over. Even if you didn't go to the game, I was downtown and you saw people walking around and they all had his jersey on, which was, I mean, people do anyway, you know, when you go to a Rays game. But I felt like maybe you were just seeing a little bit more.
I just feel like if someone asked me, I mean, I don't follow baseball closely, but if someone asked me, name like a Rays player or a former Rays player, it would have, I mean, it's him. Obviously.
It'd have to be him.
Yeah.
And the Rays posted a really cool video where it had a lot of former players posting just like congratulations to him, which was neat to see. Because he really has played with so many.
Yes, I know. He played with so many, and it was so nice seeing his family out on the field as well. So,
well, congrats to him. That's cool. We get to see that number 3 up there.
Yeah, I know. And I did see an interview with him afterwards where he said he was worried he was going to get really emotional. So he tried not to think about how big this was because he wanted to kind of keep it together.
We could have seen a tear.
I know. That would have been nice. But anyway, such a great guy.
Yes, very cool. Also, we just wanted to mention a big congratulations to La Santa Maria Kitchen. They have a food truck, and they were on our show. And then on Friday, they were on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives with Guy Fieri. This was just on Friday, which is so cool. And their food was fantastic.
Yeah, I missed that episode.
Missed that,
yeah, I missed that.
You missed it, but their food is amazing. So check out their Instagram handle, and you can find out where they are around Tampa. But to be featured on something like that that's major for them.
I know. Well, our food scene is so good. It's so good here, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
Speaking of that, we've got something else coming up a little bit later in the show, talking about Tampa Bay's food scene.
Yeah, I know. But we have a great show for you today. If you love Green Day, you are going to love this because the musical featuring all the hits from the popular rock band is playing at Job Site Theater this month, and we are going to get a little preview.
And just a few decades ago, Tampa's food scene was well known for one thing, chain restaurants. Well, now our city is bursting with flavor, and there is a new series that is showcasing some of our best restaurants.
But first, it is Music Monday, and we want to introduce you to a rock band with poetic heart.
Yeah, welcome to the show, Butch Ryan and the Antique Poets. Guys, good to have you back.
Thank you.
It's good to see you.
Great to be back.
Yeah, how's everything going?
It's been going good. We've been busy. We've been playing some local shows, and we've been promoting the album that we put out just before we were here in February. It's called Butch Ryan and the Antique Poets Volume 1, and it's found on all digital platforms, Spotify, YouTube Music, all that. And then lately we've been working on new songs, hopefully get into the recording studio in January. Put out some new material.
How does that go? How does that process work when you're putting together that new music?
I'll just start collecting songs as I write them, and probably, you write 9 lousy songs to get one good one that you're willing to go give your friends, say, give them a demo and say, hey, let's play this, and you don't get laughed out of the room.
And then they pick it apart, right, guys? Yeah.
But we were just rehearsing yesterday for today, and we started working on some of the new tunes, and so they had the demos, and so we just kind of worked off of that and said, oh, let's tweak here, let's tweak there. But so it'll be fun to do a new album, and it's still great to have, we've been playing live the stuff that we had on the first album, which is, again, Butch Ryan and the Antique Poets Volume 1. In fact, the cover of it is our logo, which is on our kick drum, and we come bearing gifts. It's also on these stickers.
Oh,
yeah, we come bearing gifts. So, if you can check it out, we're going to do a song off of Butch Ryan and the Antique Poets Volume 1 about my shoes called Beat Up Converse. So,
I love that. Well, for someone who hasn't heard your music, how do you describe your sound?
It's straight ahead Americana, rock and roll, Tom Petty, Bruce Springsteen, that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, let's hear it. What are you going to play for us?
It's called Beat Up Converse.
Beat Up Converse.
All right. Let's hear it.
I got them on, so.
He's got them on
you had
for us,
to.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Well, take it away.
Ready? Take it away.
heart since a kid, and I slung that six-string low like all the rock stars did. But when I looked in the mirror, I cried, Mama, what's wrong? She said, son, you ain't got Chuck Taylors on. Oh. As I grew older, came a working stiff. I did the 9-to-5 routine while lusting for a riff. A pinstripe suit and a tie that dawn, but my feet had Chuck Taylors on. I don't care who my boss thinks. I don't care if my feet stink. 'Cause when I die and ride around in a fancy black hearse, promise me you'll bury me in my beat-up Converse. Yeah, I don't care if it's short slacks or something worse. Just promise me you'll bury me in my beat-up Converse. Yeah, promise me you'll bury me in my beat-up Converse. Go, Jimmy! Now somewhere far out yonder, beyond the great divide, I'll be playing my guitar in a cloudy heaven dive. As the angels approach me to put tips in my jar, my feet'll shine with a great big blue star. Now I don't care what the devil thinks. I don't care if my feet stink. 'Cause when I die and ride around in a fancy black hearse, promise me you'll bury me in my beat-up Converse. Yeah, I don't care if it's short slacks or something worse. Just promise me you'll bury me in my beat-up Converse. Yeah, promise me you'll bury me in my beat-up Converse. Yeah, promise me you'll bury me. In my beat-up Converse.
Butch Ryan and the Antique Boys. Guys, that was awesome.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
what a great way to start the week. All right, the music continues here. Coming up next, we talk to the actors of a high-concept rock opera, American Idiots. Don't go away.
Jobsite Theater is bringing the Tony Award-winning rock musical American Idiot to Straz Center, and it is already selling out.
That's right. Joining us now are stars of the show, Mariella Zeno and Matthew Morse. Welcome. So great to have you here.
Yeah, thanks for having us. Really cool to be here.
Yeah, so this sounds like such a fun show. Obviously, we all know the music. We all love the music. But it's not about Green Day, right? They kind of took the songs and made a story out of it. How would you describe the show?
It's loosely based off the concept album of American Idiot, which is about an estranged teen searching for more. And it's really cool how they combined that's a bit of that story and created also some new stories with the lyrics and also with the help of the book writer of the show to create a whole new story.
Yeah, and
really cool.
just classic music.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're hearing some of it, what's it like to be a part of this show with that kind of music?
Oh my gosh. Well, like you said, I mean, there's hits for days on
Yeah.
this soundtrack. Like as we're working through a lot of the songs during the music rehearsal process, it's like so many of them you're like, oh, I remember that one. I remember that one, whether it's American Idiot, the title track, or
Right.
21 Guns, or something. A lot of these songs have become like rock anthems of the 21st century, So yeah, it's really cool kind of working through the score. And I think there's something for everyone in this show on the soundtrack,
Yeah. Well, what's one of the songs that gets the biggest reaction from the audience, would you say?
I would say probably, Good Riddance is one of those songs that everyone knows, whether it's from like, their high school graduation.
That was
or,
mine.
Yeah,
or,
that was
mine, yeah.
or it's just, again, that's another one of those like rock ballads that's been around for a while now that everyone just can kind of take something from. So that one, or I'd say, of course, American Idiot. Everyone knows that guitar
course,
riff there in the beginning. So
Yeah, it's a wonderful like rock and roll crash start to the show. It's just a lot of energy. It's a great number.
Yeah. So how have rehearsals and all of that been going? How is it feeling getting ready for the opening?
It's feeling good.
Yeah.
I mean, we were talking about it that yesterday we had a dress rehearsal, full dress rehearsal, show conditions, and it went really, really well. We really have a good show going, so we're really excited.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exciting. Well, tell me a little bit about your character.
So I play Extraordinary Girl. So my track, I like kind of start out as ensemble, and I come in later as it's a hallucination of I'm like a nurse, but his character gets injured and starts hallucinating with the pain meds, and my song Extraordinary Girl is kind of like just living in that hallucination, and then they end up actually falling in love, the actual nurse, not the extraordinary girl. But yeah, they end up falling in love, and yeah, it's a really cool story.
Yeah. And what about your character?
Yeah. So I play the role of Tunny, who is one of the three like main guys in the show. And you know, it really is like Mariella was saying earlier. It's like it's about a hero's journey essentially, right? So there's main character Johnny, and then his best bud Tunny. They move out to the city trying to find something more. Tunny sees an advertisement for the military on the television there, and he says, "That's my calling." And you know, he ends up having his whole arc going of his time in the military there, where, like Mario said, he meets Extraordinary Girl and kind of finds his meaning and purpose through his relationship with her. So yeah, it's a cool little storyline there.
Yeah, sounds like a great story.
And there's a little bit of talk that this show is kind of, a long time ago the album came out.
Right.
A long time ago. We don't like to say that. But,
It wasn't like-
but there's some relevance there to today. Are you finding that you're kind of getting that reaction with the show?
Absolutely.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool. I think it makes audiences question like your own personal view on the American dream, and I think it's a really cool way to show just different stories coming to life in ways that that people haven't seen before.
Yeah, through that album for sure.
Yeah.
And I was asking you if you even knew the music. You weren't even born when this album came out.
I was 4 years old when the album came out.
Rocking to Green Day at 4 years old, I'm sure.
You know it.
Yes, but what do you think of the music? Do you think it's something that kids would listen to today?
I totally think so, because I mean, when I was in middle school, this was like my favorite album.
Yeah.
I had like the little wristband that had the hand with the heart grenade on it and everything.
Cool.
So I think rock and roll is still very much like a powerful force, especially for the youth, today and stuff like that. Just like Elvis was back in the 50s. It's like Green Day is kind of doing the same thing, getting everyone excited still today, because they just did the Super Bowl pre-show performance, and those hits are still hits, you know?
Absolutely.
So, yeah, for
How
sure.
cool for you that you love that album and now you're getting to do this show.
That was like the whole thing. Whenever we started rehearsals, I was just like, I was so jazzed, because I was like, I just love this record, and it's like a full circle moment for a 13-year-old me. So
Amazing.
it's cool, really cool.
Amazing. Well, the show opens this Friday?
Yeah, this Friday's officially opening
Okay.
night. We got a couple previews in there between the
Amazing.
15th, 16th, but yeah, and then we go till August 9th. So many different chances to see this this live rock opera extravaganza.
Can't wait. Thank you guys for being
Yep,
here.
you can get your tickets right there, jobsitetheater.org. Thank you.
Thank you.
From iconic restaurants like the Columbia to Michelin star foodie havens like Roca, Tampa has a food scene worthy of national recognition. And next, we're going to get a preview of a new series documenting where to eat in this amazing city.
A dish is about telling a story. There should be a beginning, a middle, and an end.
If you turn around and you look and this is your office.
The one thing that always drew me to work with local farmers to source the best local products as possible is being able to serve the most fresh food that you can source, right?
That's part of the trailer for the new docuseries Savoring Tampa Bay, which takes a look at what foods make our area so unique. President and CEO of Visit Tampa Bay, Santiago Corrada, is here to tell us all about it. Good to see you.
Hi, great to be back. Thank you for having us on.
Exciting.
So exciting. You know, when we're out there promoting and marketing the destination, we look to develop projects that really have benefit for lots of folks here in Tampa. And this is one of those. It checks off so many boxes. Local filmmaker, great cinematography. We get to highlight incredible restaurants, but also the backstories. And we know how food is incredibly important, not just for tourists or leisure travelers, but when we have major scale conventions, meetings, and events, folks want to dine, and we've gotten so much attention over the last decade or so with the growth of the industry, with the Michelin Guide and James Beard, you know, our cookbooks, and now this docuseries, which is phenomenal. I've seen every single episode, really digestible, because they're short episodes, but really focus on what makes us so uniquely special when it comes to the culinary scene.
Yeah, and history plays a big part in that.
Huge part of history in the series, because we like to market our history. We like to market our people. We like to market our food. So, you know, great look at the Cuban sandwich, Latin flavors, but also sustainability. You know, the seafood business that we have here in the Bay Area, and obviously Brews and Bites talks about craft breweries, and we really started that movement here in Tampa. There were only a few cities that really embarked on that journey of developing great beer locally. So our ability to highlight all of those things and drive people here is win-win for everyone. And of course, you know, if you're a local, you're also eating at those restaurants. It's not just about tourists and visitors. It's also about our locals benefiting. So our entrepreneurs, our providers, our clients, all featured in the docuseries, and it's phenomenal. We get to work again with Film Tampa Bay, our local filmmaker. It's on our YouTube site. It's on Film Florida's YouTube site. And again, great marketing piece for us.
It's beautifully shot.
Beautifully shot, and the stories are so engaging. When you talk about our local producers that are providing these great ingredients for these incredible award-winning plates, it's really phenomenal, and we really have a great food scene here. We just had one of our greats pass last week, the executive chef at Burns. So, you know, we're deeply saddened by Chad's passing. But again, you know, an industry that really works together. I've seen these chefs elevate each other. You would think they're in competition, but they're not. They're happy for each other when they're in the Michelin Guide or when they receive a James Beard nomination. So really tight-knit industry that really helps put Tampa on the map.
Well, when you go to a city, you want to experience their food scene, and when you live here, you want it to be good as well.
Yeah, I always say, you know, when any of these great concepts come out of the ground and open their doors, it doesn't say for tourists only or locals only, it's for everyone, right? So if we keep this industry moving and generating the revenues that they need to be alive, it's for all of us. It really is for all of us.
This is certainly going to build a lot of buzz for people to want to come and visit and try it out.
I would say look at the series because you're supporting local entrepreneurs, local restaurants that you can only find here. And so that's also the beauty of marketing and promotions. If you want to enjoy those meals, if you want to enjoy that cuisine, you have to come to visit Tampa Bay.
And you really just get a piece of what we're made of. You know, we talked about the history part of it, but when you eat in these restaurants, you're tasting where that came from.
Oh my gosh, and again, the sustainability behind the product that's being put on the table, the farm to table, it's real. And this video series really talks to that. So again, great foodie series, but also great for everyone to watch on our YouTube site and Film Florida's YouTube site.
Yeah, you got to go check it out for sure. That's the website that you see there, but like you said, go to their site, you can find it and you can watch it, and then you can go try out all the restaurants.
That's right. Try the restaurants.
Yeah, it's a
support
great
our
thing to
local
do.
businesses for sure.
Yeah, well, it's great to have you. Thanks
Thank you
for being
having
here
us
as
back.
always.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, well, here's something else you may enjoy. Sound therapy tomorrow. We show you how this can help with your health and your stress.
As the old saying goes, size matters.
At Morgan & Morgan, we have over 1,000 lawyers.
But at the core, this is a family business.
You might not be thinking about breast cancer awareness in July, but Archwell Health wants you to. It's launching its 4th annual Pink Letter Project, so we went to Archwell Health Sulphur Springs to learn more. I am here with Tim Jeans. He is the Regional Growth Director for Florida. It's good to have you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, the facility's beautiful.
Thank you.
For people who haven't heard of Archwell Health, can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. So Archwell Health is primary care providers. We serve the folks that are 60 years and older. So that is our absolute focus, and just that age demographic.
Okay, and you have a really big project coming up. It's called the Pink Letter Project. What is that?
So Pink Letter Project, you might gives a clue. So it's something that we do. The Pink Letter Project is something that starts July 15th. It goes for 3 months. We're trying to get ahead of Breast Cancer Awareness Month, which is October. And what happens in October with all of the focus, the imaging centers get backed up. It could take months to get in, and then it can be discouraging, right, if someone's trying to get a screening. We want to get our members ahead of that and start it now to get ahead of that curve. That 3-month period, we just try to get the word out to all of our current members, and anyone, honestly, could come in and get information from us, and we would help.
All right, how do you accomplish all of this with this initiative?
So normal ways, right, well, of course, we're on the website and we do things like that, but here in the center, we're going to have letters that go out to our members, like personalized letters of like, hey, this is where you can go to get a screening. Here's some ways to prepare. We have postcards ready to go. And the whole idea is just to make it very simple to set up that appointment, go to the screening, and get that information back to your doctor.
Why is it so important to have some of those personalized, letters and things like that to go out to people ahead of time?
The personal part of it is that for a lot of people, it's actually stressful to get a screening.
Yeah.
Especially, many of us have been affected by someone that has had breast cancer, right? It's not uncommon. So it can be stressful, even the whole idea of like, do I even want to do this? Do I want to go to that place? What do I do? We want to make sure that it's personal and encouraging so they know we do this for preventative. This saves lives, right? And so we want them to feel like we're here with you. You're going to go do that. We're going to get your results. We're going to talk about it. And, hopefully it's just checking a box and you're okay.
Yeah.
And 2 years later, we'll do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's talk a little bit more about why is it so critical that older adults are getting mammograms?
It's so critical because literally the early detection, it saves lives. It comes to that. That's the main thing. Statistics tell us that anywhere from 25 to 35% of women that are 50 to 74, they're not up to date, which means that there could be as many as 30 million women in the United States that haven't had a screening anytime soon. And we want to do at least our part to change that a little bit so there's not so many people out there that have no idea what their health status is.
How often should older people be getting these mammograms?
Typically every 2 years.
Okay.
And then if that changes, that would be up to the provider.
Okay. So if people want to learn more about Archwell Health, of course, but if they want to learn more about this Pink Letter Day and Pink Letter Project,
Sure.
How do they do that?
The first thing I would say is come and see us. Like walk through the door. We're very welcoming. This location happens to be right here in Tampa, Bush Boulevard in North Florida. You can walk in the door and ask. We have information we can give out. If you don't want to make the drive, fully understandable, go to the website. It's archwellhealth.com. That will give information about the project, but it'll also show every address, a map, and a phone number to all of our centers on the Gulf Coast.
Yeah, that's a great way too, because if you do see this and you don't want to come to Tampa, there are other locations throughout the area that you can go visit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
From Newport Richey all the way down to Fort Myers.
Yeah, well, wonderful. Thank you for spending some time with us to talk about this.
Thank you so much.
Again, to learn more, head to archwellhealth.com or you can call 727-870-3035.
The novel, The Everlasting Life of Charlie Wall, is inspired by the real-life Tampa mobster. It tells the story through Charlie's own voice as he looks back on a life of crime, love, and loss. Author Paul Wilborn is joining us now to tell us a little bit more. So welcome to the show. Great to have you here.
So great to be here. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, well, let's start off, who is this Charlie Wall, and why did you think his life would make a great story to tell?
Well, I think when most people think of the mob in Tampa, they think of Santo Trafficante Jr., but Charlie was the generation ahead of that.
Okay.
And Charlie ran Tampa from the teens up till about 1950. And was really murdered in 55 after 4 attempts.
Oh, wow.
But in my book, he survives.
Right, so your book kind of, it's based on fact and a little fiction thrown in there. So so you kept him alive. What was the reason for that?
Well, I was writing another book, and I wrote this chapter, and this old mobster showed up and said, I want to be your book. I mean, he kind of took over. So I had to figure out how to make him alive.
and people don't remember him, so it was great to sort of give him a life. And while the book is sort of about mobsters and the life of Tampa, it's also about getting old and being irrelevant, suddenly being the most powerful guy in town to being not. And that's what Charlie's dealing with, which I think is kind of an interesting topic.
Yeah, so this really dives into the history of Tampa.
It really does.
As well. And for people who may not know, big mob scene here in Tampa, maybe a little bit corrupt back in the day.
I tell people, my wife disagrees because she's from New Orleans, but I tell people Tampa for most of the 20th century was the most corrupt city in America. Every election was fixed, every elected official was on the take. Drugs, gambling, open houses of prostitution. It was a wild town.
Yeah.
And Charlie was there for all that stuff.
So he saw all of it.
Yeah.
So this book it's about his life and about what happened.
He tells the history, but it's also set in the 80s as well.
Okay.
So it sort of goes back and forth, two different timelines.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun. And of course, somebody does want to kill him.
Right.
So
yeah. Okay. So it sounds like a good book. But this is not your first book about the Tampa mob scene. What kind of draws you to this era?
I love Ybor City. I mean, my great grandparents were Sicilian immigrants who came to Ybor. I grew up in that world. They lived till I was 12, so I got to be part of that. And then I was in Ybor in the 80s when it was all artists. Everybody had left, and Ybor was this arts colony. So I've had a lot of runs with it, and so it's just fun. And I think write about what you know. I know Tampa very well.
Yeah.
So write about what you know.
Yeah. So would you say that Tampa and Ybor City is a character in itself?
Oh,
in your
totally.
book? Yeah.
Totally. It's been a character in two of my books, this one and my first book called Cigar City.
Okay.
And I just love writing about it and bringing that place to life. I mean, it's crazy, it's quirky, it's never perfect, but Ybor is the most interesting place in Tampa, I think.
Yeah, well, I think for a lot of people who are from here or from Tampa, they think they know everything about Tampa, about the whole mob scene. So what do you think that they would find in this book or learn that they don't already know?
Well, I think what's interesting is Charlie was not Italian. Charlie was from a Gasparilla high society family. And the reason he was able to do so much is because he could call the mayor, he could call the police chief. He had access to all those folks. It was two different worlds in those days, the sort of white establishment and the immigrants. So Charlie had access. And he's a guy who some people have forgotten a little bit because of the other things that happened in later years.
Yeah, very interesting. Okay, I assume you're working on something else?
I am, but it has nothing to do with Ybor City.
Okay.
I want to write about a musician at the beach.
Oh, fun.
So that's kind of fun.
Yeah, to turn it a little bit on its head.
It's not going too far, just over to Treasure Island.
Love it. And you have an event coming up.
We're doing something, a speakeasy, a gangster speakeasy in Ybor City at the Photo Museum on July 18th.
Perfect. And where can we find your book?
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Everywhere. Online, at all the bookstores, libraries. It's out there. Believe me.
All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with us. Really appreciate it.
Such good Tampa history on the
Yes,
show today. I love it. And of course, it's Monday, so you know we have a pet in studio. We need to find this cutie a home. We're going to introduce you to Misty after the break. It is time now for our pet of the week. Madison from the Humane Society is here, and she brought Misty with her. It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
Misty is a sweetheart. She's very, cautious about what's going on. Hi, honey. She's so sweet. Tell us about her.
So Misty is 5 months old, and she has a very unique story. If you were following along with us a few months ago, a Good Samaritan was working on a construction site. There was an abandoned house. And he decided, he had this feeling, and he decided to go back through one more time and just take an extra look around.
Oh, honey.
And he ended up finding 3 puppies and their mom in an abandoned home that they're about to tear down.
My goodness, thank goodness he went back.
Yeah, he went through, brought them in.
Hi,
and
honey.
now
Hello.
they're looking, actually, she's the last one looking for a home. So
yeah, let's find her one. Yeah, she's a puppy. She's 5 months old.
Yes. So we actually tried to tire her out a little bit before this. She is a little crazy, but again, she's a puppy. She's still learning sit. So, she does listen to that sometimes, not every time, but she's very loving, very sweet, wants your attention, just wants to be around you.
Yeah, she's a sweetheart. She's been such a doll here in studio. She's loving. You can tell that for sure.
But very energetic when she has it.
Yes, she's a puppy. Remember, when you get a puppy, they're going to act like a puppy. So you have what's going on right now called a calendar contest. What is this about?
Yes, we have a calendar contest going on right now. You can enter your own pup and try to get as many votes possible to win. Or if you don't have any animals, you just want to support your family or your friends, you can go in and vote. It's $1 per vote. We also have superlatives, so you can buy a superlative for your dog in the calendar, and it can be, most likely to wake you up at 3 a.m., king of zoomies, queen of zoomies, so anything. But the grand prize winner, they'll get their picture. They'll all get their picture. The winners will get their pictures taken by Adam Goldberg, who takes some of the professional photos you see on our website. He'll take photos for you. Also, the first place winner will win stay at one of the hotels in the area. So a lot to go on, but overall just kind of a fun way to support the pets.
Our executive
bragging
producer
rights.
is smiling at her, and she is loving it right now. The puppy's coming out in her.
Yes.
It's so cute. So this is a great way. Participate in the contest. That is a great way to give back if you can. And of course, you're always looking for people to adopt and to foster and to volunteer.
Yes, always.
Yeah.
It's right now with it being summertime too, things tend to slow down. People move away, or snowbirds, students. So, things do change over the summer months.
And it's summer months, so we do have to talk about the heat. Something to keep in mind, just keep reminding people that it's important to be paying attention to that temperature.
Yes. Misty will tell you herself. Plenty of water. Try to keep them in the shade when you're out. Keep an eye out for certain signs too. Excessive drooling, panting. If their gums or their tongue get really red, that's not a good sign.
Yeah. Pay attention to it.
And then if you're gonna walk them, they need their exercise. Try to walk them in the early mornings, or if you do take them out, really short walks in the afternoon.
That's a good thing to keep in mind. Well, thank you for being here. If you are looking for Misty, she is a sweetheart. Adopt her. Let's find her a really good home. We're talking about the hot weather, so of course, Janelle, there's probably more of that on its way, right?
I think so. I don't think Misty's going to like this forecast at all.
A little bit of heat, a little bit of storms, a lot of the things that the dogs don't really necessarily love.
Right.
So, yes, but much needed rain. Got a lot over the weekend. Did you get any?
Tons of rain, which I
my
was so
gosh.
happy to
Yes,
see. Yeah.
Right. It was, yesterday, last night, it was like just in time for bedtime for me. And then
Right.
Friday just dodged it. That crazy storm.
That was nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But more storms on the way today as a front is to our north, and that's going to help kind of push showers and storms our direction. Right now, they're all sitting in the Florida Panhandle. We have a couple of light sprinkles coming off from the coast. We have this onshore wind that's just pushing some light rain along the Nature Coast and over into parts of Hillsborough County. So you can see along I-4 in eastern Hillsborough and into Polk, some very light rain. This is going to be just like a quick use of your windshield wiper. Nothing that's necessarily going to hinder your morning errands or your morning ride to work.
Good.
Highs today in the low to mid 90s. Of course, yes, it is going to feel hotter. We're looking at feels like temperatures 103 to 107 widespread today. So below heat advisory criteria, but definitely still steamy and a little hazy. If we manage to see a little more sunshine today, you'll notice that haze because the Saharan dust is still in place today. So not at levels where it's unhealthy for air quality, but just enough to make it look hazy. Taking you through Futurecast here, all those storms that are along the coast right now, those are going to push our way throughout late morning into the early afternoon. So by around lunchtime, we'll watch up towards Citrus County. Then between noon and 2, we'll look north of town for showers and storms to develop. But unfortunately for that afternoon commute, 4 to 6 p.m., right in the heart of Tampa, we're looking at storms moving through yet again.
Got to be careful.
Yeah.
All right, Allison, your guest hung around, has a question for us.
Yes, Madison and Misty stuck around. What's your question?
So we had a really, in my opinion, a freak storm on Friday. Is that normal for Florida?
This time of year, yes. We have so much fuel with all the heat and humidity. It creates something that we call instability in the weather world. And so when you get those storms to materialize like that and they take advantage of all that heat of the day, untapped energy, we'll get those pretty gusty storms that rolled through. Although I will say we had a pretty staggering number. I want to say we had one wind gust recorded in the area of like 72 miles per hour. That's not super normal, but it can happen just with all the moisture in the air and the heat and humidity. So more on the way. Today we could have, now not to that caliber, we could have some gusty wind and storms today, upwards of maybe 50, 60 miles per hour. To have a severe storm, you're looking at 60 mile per hour wind gusts. So while we don't have an organized severe threat today, I do think that we'll have the potential for maybe some storms to linger. Now, some of the rain could linger across the Tampa area for a couple of hours. That could lead to some ponding in the roadways for the evening. So just take it easy on that ride home in spots later today. Tomorrow, very similar story. We're going to watch this kind of pulse of energy that's going to move in along the Nature Coast. No organized severe threat tomorrow, but again, maybe an isolated stronger storm with some gusty wind. And then things kind of fizzle apart through the afternoon tomorrow. And the evening commute looks a little drier tomorrow, which is good news, but some showers and storms offshore. So if you had any boating plans the next couple of days, you definitely need to be mindful of the rain and storms. I was out over the weekend. I know a lot of people were out running
Yes.
storms over the weekend that moved in. But it's definitely still going to be hot. High temperatures are going to be in the 90s all week long and a little warmer back half of the week. We're going to trend a little bit drier. So that's going to allow temperatures to climb into the mid-90s maybe by Thursday. So Thursday is one of those days that we could approach heat advisory criteria. We're going to watch that pretty carefully for you. But our typical summer weather, hot and humid. Wettest days will be today and tomorrow before we trend a little drier back half of the week. And the weekend will stay unsettled. We'll kind of go back into our typical sea breeze pattern, it looks like this weekend, with the chance for afternoon storms and highs in the 90s. But not a bad idea to have the rain gear today and tomorrow.
Yes, absolutely. All right, thank you, Courtney.
Thank you.
Welcome back. Looking great doesn't have to break the bank. Today, I'm sharing budget-friendly skincare to keep you glowing without the high price tag. So I have found when it comes to skincare products, you don't have to spend a fortune to find something that actually works. So we're gonna start with face wash. So I recently started doing a double cleanse. So basically that's when you start with an oil-based cleanser and then finish it up with a water-based cleanser. Now this is all the rage on TikTok, but it's more than just a fad. It actually works. And if you wear a lot of makeup or even sunscreen during the day, you'll want to try the double cleanse. So my favorite oil-based cleanser is the Oat Cleansing Balm by Inky List. This tube will last you forever and it only costs $10.99. You apply it to dry skin and then wash it off with the washcloth. You don't have to scrub. Even your eye makeup, the mascara will just slide right off. So definitely give that a try. So then I follow it up with my absolute favorite drugstore product of all time. It's the CeraVe Hydrating Facial Cleanser. I have been using this for years. I've been to several different dermatologists in 3 different states, and they have all recommended this product when it comes to washing your face. I use it morning and night. This only costs $12.99, and this is huge. Again, it'll last you forever. Let's talk about eye cream. There are some eye creams out there that cost $100 or more, but I found an eye serum that won't break the bank. It's called Vichy Mineral 89 Eye Gel, and it's just $25. A little on the pricier side, but compared to some of the others, it's a steal. When I was looking for a new eye cream, I looked for 2 specific things: caffeine and hyaluronic acid. Hyaluronic acid is great because it helps to plump the skin and helps to fill in all that crepiness that some people like me get under their eyes. And also caffeine, especially if you're using this eye cream or eye gel in the morning, because the caffeine will help reduce the puffiness. And this little product has it all. The last product I want to share with you is my moisturizer, and this is a product I cannot live without. I have very dry skin, and this really does the trick. It's the Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel. This is only $19, and you can get it at any drugstore or Target.
I love these tips.
Yes,
They're
I
good.
know. They're
I love
great,
skincare.
Great products, and all from like a CVS.
Yeah,
so,
love it. If you want to watch any of the segments again from today's show, maybe you missed the Antique Poets or details about the savoring new docu-series, you can watch the show again at 3 o'clock on our free 10 Tampa Bay streaming app. You can download and watch it on Roku TV, Fire TV, and Apple TV.
Well, thanks so much for watching today. Coming up on the next Great Day Live, you may not want to start thinking about it, but back to school will be here before you know it. Tomorrow, we'll tell you about an event to get some free school supplies.
And one of our favorite musicians will be back in studio sharing some new beachy country tunes. We're going to catch up with Aubrey Willette. That's coming up tomorrow.
Always fun to have her on the show.
Yeah, good music.
Have a great one, everyone.
We'll see you back here tomorrow.
The Great Day Live Kitchen is sponsored by Kitchen Saver, custom cabinet renewal.